God's love language is obedience. I saw this phrase during a training session, and honestly, I resisted it. It sounded heavy. It sounded religious. It sounded like one of those things you hear and think, this isn't for me. This is for people who can live under spiritual pressure. But I went home, opened the Bible, and realized that maybe I wasn't resisting because the phrase was wrong, but because I had learned to love God in a way that demanded nothing from me. We grow up hearing that God wants relationship, and that is true. But at some point, relationship became a synonym for feeling, for music that moves us, for spontaneous prayer, for tears during worship. As if loving God were about what I feel when I'm close to Him, and not about what I do when He speaks. Then you go back to Eden, right at the beginning. God places the man there, gives him everything, walks with him, full relationship. But He also gives direction. You may freely eat from every tree of the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for on the day you eat from it, you will certainly die. Genesis 2:16-17. It wasn't authoritarian. It was protection. God wasn't testing blind obedience. He was teaching trust. I know what is good for you. Trust me. And what happened? Adam and Eve didn't stop talking to God. They just stopped obeying. And that's when everything fell apart. It wasn't emotional distance that broke the relationship. It was disobedience. We romanticize David because he wrote psalms, because he cried, because he danced. And that is beautiful. But when God said David was a man after His own heart, it wasn't about emotion. It was about alignment. I have found David, son of Jesse, a man after my own heart who will do everything I want him to do. Acts 13:22. David failed badly, but when God spoke, he didn't negotiate. He broke, he adjusted, quickly. While Saul listened and justified himself, David listened and obeyed. Then you look at Noah. Noah did everything just as God commanded him. Genesis 6:22. He didn't understand everything. He had never seen rain, but he trusted, he built, he obeyed. Abraham, who loved Isaac more than anything, heard God ask for the impossible, and he went, because he knew that obeying God was safer than protecting what he loved most. Mary, the mother of Jesus, received a plan she didn't choose. That made no sense. That would cost her deeply. And she answered, I am the Lord's servant. May it happen to me according to your word. Luke 1:38. None of them obeyed because it was easy. They obeyed because they trusted. Then Jesus comes and makes it clear, if you love me, keep my commandments. John 14:15. He didn't say, if you love me, spend time with me. He said, if you love me, obey. And that makes us uncomfortable because we want a God who only welcomes, who only understands, who only accepts. But Jesus didn't come to change God. He came to reveal the God who had been there since Eden, the Father who loves, who guides, and who waits for trust in response. But pay attention. This is not obedience like obeying a boss. It's not fear. It's not pressure. For this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not burdensome. 1 John 5, verse 3. It's trust. Like a child who obeys their parents because they know the no protects. And in practice, obedience can look like forgiving when you'd rather ignore, ending a relationship God already warned you about, stopping the negotiation with a sin you know hurts, telling the truth, honoring commitments, trusting when it makes no sense. None of this is emotional, but all of it is spiritual. Because in the end, God always wanted relationship. But the language of that relationship has always been obedience, not like a boss, like a father. You are my friends if you do what I command. John 15:14. Obeying God is not a burden. It is rest for those who trust. And you? Is there any area of your life where you know what God is asking, but you're still negotiating? Tell us in the comments. If this video spoke to you, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.